Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, please kindly welcome to today's SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM class. His Grace YADHUNATH Prabhu was here a few minutes ago. He's our speaker for today. But I don't know, maybe his network or something, it went off. So we hope he will come in back soon. In the meantime, I think I'll play some bhajan while we wait for him to come in. He was here a while ago. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so we'll wait for him a little bit. I think it might likely be his network because he was here a few minutes ago.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I just spoke with Yadhunath Prabhu. I think he's struggling to come back in. He's having a network at the location where he is. So we just wait a little bit for him.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama
Hare Krishna, Yadhunath Prabhu, you're welcome.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Hare Krishna Africa platform.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
So without wasting more of your time, I believe we are ready.
Okay.
So can we put this verse on the screen so that we can start?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Verses on the screen.
Okay. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswati vyasam takto jayamudirayat nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nita bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttamam sloke bhaktir bhaktina istriki tadara jastamo bhava kama lobha dayaschaye Cheta ita anavidam sita satvi prasidyate. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, we are taking our discussion today from Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 15th chapter, text number 30. The Pandavas retire timely. Getam Bhagavata Gnanam Yat Tat Sangrama Murdani Kala Karma Tamurudam Puna Adya Gamat Prabhu. Getam Bhagavatam Gnanam Yat Tat Sangrama Murdani Kala Karma Tamurudam Puna Adya Gamat Prabhu. Geetam Bhagavata Gnanam Yat Tat Sangrama Murdani Kala Karma Tamurudam Puna Adyagatmat Prabhu. Translation. Because of the Lord's pastimes and activities, And because of his absence, it appeared that Arjuna forgot the instructions left by the personality of Godhead. But actually, this was not the case. And again, he became Lord of his senses. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A conditioned soul is enwrapped in his fructive activities by the force of eternal time. But the Supreme Lord, when he incarnates on the earth, is not influenced by Kala or the material conception of past, present, and future. The activities of the Lord are eternal, and they are manifestations of his Atma Maya, or eternal potency. All pastimes or activities of the Lord are spiritual in nature, but to the laymen, they appear to be on the same level with material activities. It so appeared that Arjuna and the Lord were engaged in the battle of Kurukshetra, as the other party was also engaged. But factually, the Lord was executing his mission of incarnation and association with his eternal friend, Arjuna. Therefore, such apparently material activities of Arjuna did not drive him away from his transcendental position, but on the contrary, revived his consciousness of the songs of the Lord as he sang them personally. This revival of consciousness is assured by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita 1865 as follows. Ma mana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Ma mivasyaksi satyamte prati jane priyosime. One should think of the Lord always. The mind should not forget him. One should become a devotee of the Lord and offer obeisances unto him. One who lives in that fashion becomes undoubtedly endowed with the blessings of the Lord by achieving the shelter of his lotus feet. There is nothing to doubt about this eternal truth. Because Arjuna was his confidential friend, the secret was disclosed to him. Arjuna had no desire to fight with his relatives, but he fought for the mission of the Lord. He was always engaged in the execution of his mission only. And therefore, after the Lord's departure, he remained in the same transcendental position, even though it appeared that he forgot all the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore adjust the activities of life in pace with the mission of the Lord. And by doing this, one is sure to return back home, back to Godhead. This is the highest perfection of life. Om Adhyanam Timirandaksya Jana Jana Shalakaya Shakshu Yumilitam Yena Tashmai Sri Gurave Namaham Sri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadanti Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopeka Kantarada Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorange Rade Vrinda Vanishwari Vrishabhanu Sutti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kapatarobhyas Chakrapa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavane Bhyo Vaishnavi Bhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gora Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Before repeating what I've been hearing, I want to take mercy from Sister Radha Samashundra and from our beloved spiritual masters, Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Srila Bhakti Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Srila Kavichandra Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Srila Bhakti Ramandara Goswami Maharaj, and from all wonderful devotees here assembled, that I be able to speak something for the glorification of the Lord, for my purification and for the benefit of others. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, some time now, we have been discussing about the timely retirement of the Pandavas, or in another word, how Yudhishthira Maharaj sent his brother Arjun on an errand. And then it took him a long time to return. And the Yudhishthira Maharaj became worried. And he saw different kind of omens, inauspicious omens, or in another word, omens that gave him a message that Lord Krishna was no longer present. And Arjuna also had experience that also gave him the message that yes, for this to happen, it means the Lord is not there. Even the material word, say one with God is majority. When you have Krishna, you have everything. And the last verse of what Gita explains says, whenever and wherever there is Krishna, the supreme mystic, and there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be victory, morality, extraordinary power. And he says, Sanjaya said, this is my opinion. So for Arjuna not to experience his usual victory, it means that Krishna was not there. So both Arjuna and the brother, they were disturbed and worried, and they saw it as a signal that the Lord was already out of the physical planet. So this verse today is a continuation of that episode. So the translation is saying, because of the Lord's pastime and activities, and because of his absence, it appeared that Arjuna forgot the instructions left by the personality of Godhead. But factually, this was not the case. And again, he became Lord of his senses. Yes, definitely, even among Shiksha, among disciples, sometimes when the guru physically leaves, for the first time in the beginning, when the incident happened, one is taking off feet, one is taking off the balance. It appears as if you don't even know where you are, you don't know what you are doing, but because of the training and spiritual maturity, one will get himself or herself back on the feet, because actually there are two ways to relate with a spiritual master. The Vani is there and the Vapu is there. And it's actually said that the relationship between a disciple and the spiritual master is more powerful when the spiritual master is no longer physically present. And not only that, how mature a disciple is, and how much value, how much respect, how much you appreciate, how much gratitude you have for the spiritual master will show when the spiritual master is not physically present. When he's physically present, one could perform high service. So when Lord Krishna disappeared, when Arjuna saw all this, it appears like he forgot the teachings. It's expected when something happens, we can have the feeling of it, but one should not take time to come back to his feet. It was said that even when Lord Nishimadev appeared, Prahlad Maharaj was momentarily doubtful, he was disturbed, but it didn't take him time to get himself back, because the form of the Lord he have been seeing was different from what appeared. But because he have philosophical worth and he have a high level of devotion and high level of realization, immediately came back to consciousness. And when the father asked him, is this your God? Is this your Krishna? Is this your Vishnu? He said, yes. We saw instances also even in some other some other scriptures, like even Jesus Christ too, when he was nailed on the cross. Momentarily, it became like he lost some faith. He made a statement, why have thou forsaken me, O Lord? Then he realized also, and he said, if it is your will, let this come by, let this cross come and go. So it's just like also, even in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, like in chapter 2, Arjuna was doubtful to some degree in the beginning. But by the mercy of Lord Krishna, he came back to consciousness and they became fixed. He was transformed and he continued his activity. So this text is telling us that it appears that Arjuna forgot the instructions led by the personality of Godhead. But factually, this was not the case. It appears, but it was not. And again, he became Lord of his senses. And of course, even in our scriptures, Rupa Goswami made a very strong FRC. The first thing for any sadhaka or anybody who is practicing spiritual life, the first thing you must try to master is your senses. Because the senses are like the tires, the wheels of a vehicle. And if you are given the instance of a chariot, the senses are like the same thing, wheels, and if the reins are not properly held, the wheels will go on their own ways, and that will cause a very big trouble. So first thing that we must always see that is in place, our senses must be controlled, and our mind too must be balanced. And then, like Krishna made this statement in Bhagavad chapter 3 and chapter 6, he used the word Stita Dirmuni, a stage of steady mind. For the person's mind to be steady means that he has succeeded in controlling his senses. So here it is said that again, Arjuna became the Lord of his senses. He again realized himself and brought himself back to track. It is explained in aviation that the plane we see flying on daily basis, every day plane flies here and there. Every 2 minutes, the plane derails, it goes off track, but the pilot have to consciously and continuously bring it back to track. And of course, also even in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, Lord Krishna said to Arjuna, wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering nature, one should always consciously bring it back. So the mind wanders, that is the nature of the mind. And there will always be things that will happen in this material world that will baffle us, that will create some disturbances. But at the same time, if a person is philosophically worthy, it will always come back to the right track and continue. That is the reason why it is explained, even in Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, the nature of a devotee from text number 13 to text number 20. And at the end of every verse of the translation of every shloka, Krishna said, Priyosime, very dear to me, very dear to me. And the last verse, 12:20, Krishna said, very, very dear to me. So what makes a devotee to become dear to Krishna? There are so many things happening around you, so many things. If you want to begin to look at the chapter itself, chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions so many things. So many things can happen. You can be defamed, you may be honored, you may lose so many things, but a devotee remains undisturbed. One is not put into difficulty by anything. He remains undisturbed. One, because he has controlled his senses, and two, because he always sees the hand and will of God in everything. There are 10 practical tips for mind management. And number 1 says that one should always see the hand and will of God in everything. And there are 6 symptoms of surrender. And number 3 symptom says that one should know in his heart that whatever happens, Lord Krishna is always there for me. He will protect me. We should take Krishna as our guide, as our guardian. So Krishna, whether we are seeing him physically or we are not seeing him physically, after all, Krishna is also always there. Because in Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma said, Priman janam churitam bhakti vilochanena santa sadarivarida yeshu vilochayanti yam shyama shundaram achintya guna swarupam govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. The Santa Bhaktas, the pure devotees, when they look within their heart, they see Lord Samashundara sitting in their heart. So they don't need any physical encouragement. They don't need to be disturbed by anything. Things may happen, but they are not affected because right closest to them, Krishna is always there. So Arjuna had this realization also. So he brought himself back to consciousness and he forged ahead. And in the purport, so the Prabhupada started the purport very beautifully. There are so many beautiful points in the purport, but we just speak 1 or 2 that we can talk about because of time also. And at the same time, sometimes personally, I always feel that Prabhupada has already made a very beautiful purport. Sometimes we try to speculate into it, we may spoil it. But then we just say 1 or 2 things from the purport. Prabhupada said, a conditioned soul is enwrapped in its fructive activities by the force of eternal time. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna told Arjuna, time I am the destroyer of everything. I've come to destroy everything, in exception of you, the Pandavas, in the very beginning of the purport. So Krishna said, I've come to destroy everything. So time is the strongest force there is. Time is a very strong force. So we are all enwrapped. We are engaging in fructive activities. It's only time that is making these things happen. That is the reason why in Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna said, Prakriti Kriyamanani, Guna Karmani Sarvasaha, Ahankara Vimuda Atma Kata Ahamiti Mayate. Sometimes we think that we are doing something. I'm in charge, I'm in control. But in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, Srila Prabhupada explained that there is only one operator, and that is Krishna. And Krishna have agents, machineries he has put in place for his operation. All the universal ministers, which we may call demigods, they are all there. Krishna is using them to operate. At the same time, there is a song in our Vaishnava songbook which said, Tumi Shware Shware Shwara Brajendra, Tumi Shware Shware Shwara, Brajendra Kumar, something like that. And then if you go deeper, if you go down in that song, it is mentioned that in accordance to the will of the Lord, Brahma creates. In accordance to the will of the Lord, Lord Shiva destroys. In accordance to the will of the Lord, Lord Vishnu himself also maintains. So everything is done according to the will of the Lord. And Lord Krishna is using a very strong force to affect everything. And that's the force of time. Whatever we are building now is just like sometimes when children are young, they go to the seashore and they make their castle. The castle will remain there for some time. But in due course of time, the sea wave will come and sweep everything into the waters. So anyone in the material world who is struggling, who is doing whatever is doing, or you are attaining some height, you are getting some positions, you are only going to maintain that position for some time. In a due course of time, either old age will take it away from you, politics will take it away from you, or anything can take it away. But who actually takes? Krishna uses time to take away all these things that we may be struggling for. People are working very hard, engaging in fructive activities, and so on and so forth. And still in the purpose, Srila Prabhupada said, the activities of the Lord are eternal, and they are manifestations of his Atma Maya, or eternal potency. All pastimes or activities of the Lord are spiritual in nature, but to the layman, they appear to be on the same level with material activities. Lord Krishna himself said it in Bhagavad Gita, that the fools, they deride him when he appears in this material world. Why is it so? Because they see Lord Krishna engaging in activities that look like very common, activities for unserious person. You know, one of the name of Krishna is Kanha, which means nothing, one who is nothing. So Krishna engaged in naughty activities. He steals butter, he steals the women's garment. He does so many things. He tells lies in many occasions. And of course, if you look at them very deeply also, Krishna never told a lie. So all these activities can be very bewildering for an ordinary person. Just like Brahmaji also. Brahmaji was the one himself who appeared to the Lord to appear, to come and help ameliorate the problem in the universe. But when the Lord appeared, the Lord came as a child, and he was playing like a child. He was sometimes at the mercy of his friends. Lord Brahma became disturbed. Is this my Lord? This is not my Lord. You know, just like the Bible will say, test all faith and see if they are of God. So Brahmaji decided to carry out an experiment, which materially it is correct. So you don't just jump into conclusion. One have to test and see. So Brahma did that. He came and he stole the cows, the calves, and Krishna's friends. And of course, when he came back the next day, and it is not even next day, he said, a moment, he went and he came back to see. But in his time, a moment, but in our own time here, so many months have gone. He came back and he saw the Lord Krishna and his friends and the cows and the calves, and realized that yes, it's my Lord. And he said, Ishwara Paraman Krishna, Sakchid Ananda Vigraha, Ananda Randi Govinda Sarva Karanakana. The Supreme Personality of God here, his name is Krishna, his name is Govinda. He gives pleasure to the senses, he gives pleasure to the Brahmanas, he protects the cows. And This same Krishna is the cause, not just the cause, but the prime cause of everything. And in Bhagavad Gita 4:9, Lord Krishna said, one understand the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities will not, upon leaving this body, have to take birth again, but attain the nature or the abode of the Lord. So the pastime of the Lord for the ordinary human beings is very bewildering. And sometimes too, even for the advanced devotees, the highly advanced devotees, even like Yashoda Mai herself, when Lord Krishna was engaging in his pastimes, Yashoda Mai was bewildered. Yashoda Mai, he saw Krishna eating clay. Krishna ate sand. It was reported to Yashoda by Lord Balaram. And Yashoda tried to open the mouth of the Lord to see. Yashoda saw herself and the whole universe, so the universal form inside the mouth of the Lord. She saw these things with her eyes, but she did not believe it. She said, whatever, maybe I'm just dreaming. Whatever it is, he is just my son. I don't want to think of any other thing. He is my son. He was bewildered. And Prabhupada used the word here that Krishna uses is Atma Maya. Atma Maya, or internal potency. And Prabhupada said, all the pastimes of the Lord are spiritual. They are not ordinary, they are not material, they are spiritual pastime. And at the same time, too, they increase the ananda, the pleasure of the devotees. They increase the pleasure of the devotees, they encourage the devotees. Now Jamastami is coming. Sometimes we always want to talk why Lord Krishna came. Lord Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita gave reason why he came. But our Acharya says that is not the reason. Krishna said, Yada yada hi dharmasya, glani bhavati bhavata, bhutanama dharmasya, tadatmana srijamyaham, paritranaya sadhuna, vinasayanas chaduskritam, dhammasasasana tayusabhavami yuge yuge. Krishna said this by himself. This is why he came. You know, anytime there is retrogression in religious principles and there's a predominant rise of a religion, he comes. And when he comes, what does he do? He comes to annihilate the miscreants and reestablish religious principles. This is what he says. But the Acharya said that Lord Krishna can stretch his hand from the spiritual world and set everything straight. He doesn't have to come just because he wants to kill demon. He have Parasa Shakti, unlimited energies. He can kill any demon from anywhere. But he actually came to give pleasure, to give physical association to his devotees, to increase the bliss of the devotees. And one day, Prabhu Ganga Prasad was giving class. He said, Lord Krishna came to tear us. T means to, he came to teach us, engage in activities that should teach us how we should live life. He came to encourage us. Lord Krishna came and encouraged us, just like in his relationship with the Pandavas. The Pandavas experienced so many things, but Lord Krishna was always there to give them constant encouragement. That was the reason why they were always pushing on, they were going on. Then Krishna came to appreciate us. You know, just in the Bible, Jesus Christ said to God, I have exalted you, so you also exalt me in return. So Krishna came just to appreciate the devotees. So in his appreciation, he had some pastime with them, give them his time, share his time with them. And of course, Lord Krishna came also to show us some respect. Even though we are his devotees, he also came to show respect to our devotees. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, one of the purports, it is mentioned that Lord, I think 2:21, Lord Krishna is happier. Serving in the purpose says he's happy serving the devotees than the devotees serving him. Krishna derived more joy in serving his own devotees than
Hare Krishna. I think Yadhunath Prabhu's network is hanging. Hare Krishna.
Sure.
Yeah, I think network has thrown him out. So wait a little bit again.
Thank you.
नवहास्यकरं नवहेमवरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं नवगौरवरं नवपुष्पसरं नवभावधरं नवलास्यपरं नवहास्यकरं नवहेमवरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम् नवप्रेमयुतं नवनीतशुचं नववेशकृतं नवप्रेमरसं नवधाविलसशुभप्रेममयं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं नवप्रेमयुतं नवनीतशुचं नववेशकृतं नवप्रेमरसं नवधाविलसशुभप्रेममयं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम् परं हरिनामधरं करजाप्यकरं हरिनाम परं नयने सततं प्रणयाश्रुधरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं हरिभक्तिपरं हरिनामधरं करजाप्यकरं हरिनाम परं नयने सततं प्रणयाश्रुधरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम् सततं जनता भवतापहरं परमार्थपरायण लोकगतिं नवलेहकरं जगतापहरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं सततं जनता भवतापहरं परमार्थपरायण लोकगतिं नवलेहकरं जगतापहरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम् निजभक्तिकरं प्रियचारुतरं नटनर्तननागरराजकुलं कुलकामिनि मानसलास्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं निजभक्तिकरं प्रियचारुतरं नटनर्तननागरराज कुलं कुलकामिनि मानसलास्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम् करतालवलं कलकण्ठरवं मृदुवादसुवीनकया मधुरं निजभक्तिगुणावृतनाट्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुतगौरवरं करतालवलं कलकण्ठरवं मृदुवाद्यसुवीनकया मधुरं निजभक्तिगुणावृतनाट्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुतगौरवरम् युगधर्मयुतं पूर्णानन्दसुतं धरणेषु चित्रं भवभावचितं तनुध्यानचितं निजवासयुतं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं युगधर्मयुतं पूर्णानन्दसुतं धरणी
Hare Krishna.
Welcome back.
Yeah, so sorry about it. You know, we're in a remote area to some. Anyway, so I'm just concluding. I'm just rounding. So in the ending of the purport, the Prabhupada gave a quotation from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text number 65. And this verse is very, very important because it's a verse that is repeated in Bhagavad Gita. We find the same verse in chapter 9, text number 34. And again, it's there in chapter 18, text number 65. And this verse emphasizes on the importance of being absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee and worship me. In 9:34, he said, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. But in this one, he said, you become very dear to me. Pratijano priyosime. Become very dear to the Lord. So complete absorption on the Lord makes a devotee to be dear to the Lord. Once you think of the Lord, always, the mind should not forget him. One should become a devotee of the Lord and offer obeisances unto him. One who lives in that fashion becomes undoubtedly endowed with the blessings of the Lord by achieving the shelter of his lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, His Grace YADHUNATH Prabhu, for this beautiful class. Devotees, it is time for Q&A, question and answer. So if anyone has a question, you can kindly please indicate by raising a hand using the emoji. But meanwhile, okay, Anandini Prabhu, just before I call you, today I think is also as a result of the fact that today is our dear Guru Maharaj disappearance day, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Krishna Pad. So many of the devotees, I think, are engaged somehow or the other in temple activities. So that's why we're having a few numbers of people here. I was also expecting that actually YADHUNATH Prabhu will mention something about Guru Days, but it's okay. Maybe later, before the end of the class, he will do that. So Anandini Prabhu, please unmute and ask a question.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Jai Prabhuji.
Yeah, but it seems that Salika Prabhu is in my mind because exactly that's what I'm going to say before. But then I would like to ask my question. You see, it's in regards to the living of our Spiritual Master Bhakti Swami. See the text that we are reading today. You spoke a little about the Vani and the Vapu. So I learned when Srila Prabhupada left this planet Earth, Srila Bhakti Swami went to Jagannath-puri to go, and he went and prayed, knowing that whenever Acharyas left, there are some sort of problems here and there. And eventually, when he himself too also left, though I didn't come and meet him, but I read a lot about him and I heard a lot about him from other senior devotees. So when Krishna left, it looks like Arjuna became very morose. So similarly, what can we then say? Because when today we are marking the disappearance day of our Guru Dev, Srila Bhakti Swami Maharaj, and we could see that then when he was alive, things were moving all right. But when he left, what I came and meet, to me, it wasn't like those days. So are we not having this mindset that as far as the Vani and the Vapu is concerned, the Vapu, one day, yes, you may lose the presence of the person, but the Vani continues, so that we stick to that point. I don't know if you got my question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, okay.
Thank you very much. There are two kinds of disturbance that can happen when the spiritual master leaves. One, because when you love your father so much, you are thinking he's going to live forever, even though you know that he's not going to live forever. But because of the love, you are thinking he's always going to be there. And anytime anything happens, you know that there's somebody there you can always go to. So when he now leaves, his leaving is always like a sudden to the disciple or to the son. So you can get that a little bit kind of shaking. You are shaking. Oh, he's not there again. So how do I continue from here? This particular kind of little imbalance does not remain for a long time. That was the kind of imbalance that Arjuna had. So you have to pray, and then you get guidance and continue. But the second imbalance that can happen is when devotees were actually not matured. It is proved, it is seen, becomes obvious when the spiritual master leaves. Sometimes there's a possibility that when the father is there, or the spiritual master is there, some of us may do high service, show bottle service. And of course, our scripture explains that there are two types of disciple. We have the Satakapa Bhakta and the Nishtakapa Bhakta. The Satakapa Bhakta, they want everything. They want promotion, they want recognition, they want adoration, they want to stand with the guru and snap picture, they want to sit in front row with the guru. Sometimes even when dealing with them, also even the guru himself, give them the opportunity just to keep them within. Then you have the Nishtakapa. The Nishtakapa Bhaktas, they don't want anything material, even though you have to keep them behind the doors. They are doing their service from behind. Then they don't care. What they just need, what they want is Krishna Prem. So this kind of devotees, even when the spiritual master is not physically present, they still know that the spiritual master is there, is living in his instructions, and they try to carry out these instructions. One of the most important instructions that Krishna Prabhupada left with us, which was the same instructions that Prabhupada left, was the love you have for me will be shown by how you come together, cooperate with each other to move this movement forward when I am gone. So if the movement is not moving forward now, I'm sorry, with all due respect, but taking from that statement, if we are scattered now or we are still shaking or whatever, is a proof that the love for the guru is not there. And of course, when Srila Krishna Prabhupada was physically present, he made a statement. He said, we lack the attitude of gratitude. If we are grateful for the works that he has done, we should do whatever we can do to contribute our best, our own part, to see that things are going. And not only that, even if to some degree there are some imbalance, some disturbances, some people are discouraging others, I should be an encouragement to somebody. You should be an encouragement to somebody. We should take it upon ourselves. Okay, let me do what I can do. One should know fully well that the spiritual master is always there in his words, is there in his teachings, is there in his instructions. And of course, our level of maturity will be shown when he's not physically present. Well, when Sri Krishna left also, the devotees didn't fight among themselves. We saw in some, what we have read in the past of some gurus or some acharyas who left, and the disciples started fighting, who is going to take this, who will take that, who will take this position, and things like that. Things like that didn't happen when Sri Krishna left. But if we are experiencing some imbalance now, if I am still disturbed that the guru is not there, so I cannot work with somebody, or things are not like before, well, purity keeps things going. Because of the purity of the spiritual master, we see that things were moving nicely. So if he's not there, and we're not able to tap and sustain the level of purity, we will not have the same experience. Even Narada Muni meditated, and Lord Vishnu appeared to him. And when Lord Vishnu appeared to him, Lord Vishnu told him, I appeared to you not because you are qualified to see me. I appeared to you just to encourage you so that your yearning to see me will increase. But you will not see me again until you become perfect. So when we say when Krishna was there, that was like the beginning of Krishna consciousness in Africa. So it was really booming. It was really sweet. The purity of the guru contributed to that. And Lord Krishna himself too was encouraging us in many ways so that we will take the process serious. But now we have to work hard to get the honey. We have to work hard now to get what is expected to be gotten. Everybody have to come together. We have to put our hands on deck and say that we do all that has to be done. And if we truly love the guru, whatever sacrifice I need to be taken. If one devotee is a very bad person to me, but because I love my spiritual master, I should be able to tolerate him and try to work with him. And of course, one should always also wait for time. With time, one will be put in a situation where you have the means to change the things you want to see that are changed. And when our desires are actually genuine, Krishna will put us in a situation where we can make positive change. When our desires are not genuine also, we may fight, we may politic, we may do many things, but it will not happen. I was once talking with a devotee, I'm sorry, and this devotee mentioned to me, he said, Prabhuji, if I ever become an important person in ISKCON, I will cancel Ekadasi. So I said to him, Prabhu, let me be fair with you. You will never become an important person in this movement. You will not grow to the height that you will have the power to cancel Ekadasi, because Ekadasi is eternal. It has come to stay. You can't do anything about it. So what we are saying is, if we have genuine, sincere intentions, sincere desires, the guru will come to us on a daily basis, speak to us, give us guidance, and like that. So in a simple language, when the guru is not there, it shows how mature the disciples are. That is, in a very simple language, that's what I will say. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, thank you very much for the beautiful answer. Nandini Dhanam Prabhu, does that satisfy your question?
Sure, a very satisfactory answer. Yes.
Yeah, actually I have a question, but I think you touched it a little bit in your answer to Nandini Dhanam Prabhu, because when you were talking about, and then you start talking about when he was waiting to hear a little bit more about this. I was just wondering, Sri Krishna's departure, by this celebration, it is 17th year, 17th calendar year that he has left us. And it is said that when the spiritual master leaves, the disciples are scattered. There are a lot of changes, a lot of things. But after some time, just like Arjuna is said in this verse, he quickly regained his consciousness of what he has learned. So, and I'm wondering, looking at Sri Krishna's desire, his wishes, his aspiration for this yatra, 17 years still counting. Have we really actually been able to put in place, can we say as disciples that we have been able to advance beyond where we were 17 years ago? And if we have not, what could be the likelihood of the challenges that is making it not to happen? Maybe it's my fault, I don't know, but I would like you to please shed light so that I can work on it.
Hare Krishna. First, for myself as a person, because I will not be able to answer for everybody. For myself as a person, I will not say that I am 100%, trying to carry out the desire of the spiritual master. But I will say that I have seen that there are some devotees who are doing their bits. Some of the things that Srila Krishna Prabhupada emphasized on is community building. Then he emphasized also on self-sufficiency projects, cottage industry, and things like that. And person like yourself is Grace Salika Prabhu. You are doing farming. It's one of the things that Srila Krishna Prabhupada wanted that we should do. No, we may be difficult for one person to carry out the whole instruction, do everything, but if somebody is contributing his best from Jos, and I'm contributing my best from Benin, before we know it, everything will be achieved. So it's just a matter of all of us looking at it. What can I do individually and what can be achieved collectively? We have roles to play individually, and as an organization, as a body, or as disciples, we also have some collective roles that we need to play. But in psychology and even in administration, sometimes it is explained that when the individuals are solidly focused on getting something wonderful done, it will come to a point they will realize that, okay, I have done this much, you have done that much, you have done that much. Let's join force together so that we can achieve something bigger. So we have to start by working on ourselves individually, doing something. I should be able to have a particular thing I'm doing and say, I know this is pleasing my guru, or this should please my guru. But one of the things I really see from whatever we are discussing now is mainly a part of our relationship, our interactions, how we see each other, how we relate with each other. In another word, our sambandha. So it's very, very important also that we work on it. If our sambandha is potent enough, our association is positive and strong enough, we can come together and achieve a lot. And of course, in SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM 4th Canto, chapter 8, text number 30, it is mentioned, Krishna was the one speaking there to the Prachetas. He said, I am pleased by the friendly association amongst you, and therefore you cannot ask a benediction, a boon of me. In the purpose to that verse, Srila Prabhupada explained that even within ISKCON society,
4th Canto, chapter 30.
4th Canto, 8th chapter, 30th verse.
Okay.
So Prabhupada was saying that even the United Nations, they come together to work towards the world peace. He said, but every representative from different countries have their national interests at heart. Therefore, they cannot achieve peace.
Is it this one?
Let me see.
4830.
No, it's not this one. Go to 438. Maybe I'm missing it. Yes. Yes, 430, then there's 8.
Yeah, I think this is the verse we're talking about, right?
Yes, this is the verse. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear sons of the King, I am very much pleased by the friendly relationships among you. All of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction of me. So this is very, very important also. once we are coming together and working together, definitely there will be progress. But just like you have highlighted now, Mr. Prabhupada already also quotes the United Nations, they come together, but they have the different members have their different personal goal in mind. So sometimes the unity they want, the peace is not coming. And even in our midst as devotees, Prabhupada said the members sometimes appear to be disunited. As the Prabhupada gave the reason, if we go down little, the Prabhupada gave the reason why we are not united, because we are leaning on personal interest or something like that. In the material world, such unity Prabhupada said, so in a society of Krishna consciousness, members sometimes appear disunited due to their having different opinions and leaning toward material things. Yes, yes. This verse is very, very beautiful. For me, I take this verse like a peace formula. Very, very beautiful verse. The shloka is beautiful. The translation is very nice. And the purpose, the proper break it down complete. If for any reason I'm not ready to unite with somebody, it's because I have my different interests at heart. And the proper say in the beginning, towards the ending of the purport, that devotees should not be disunited at any time. Prabhupada said, actually, in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be two opinions. In Krishna consciousness, there cannot be two opinions. There is only one goal, which is to serve Krishna to one's best ability. If there is some disagreement over service, such disagreement is to be taken as spiritual. So Prabhupada has pointed out, there is only one goal. There should be no two opinions, only one goal, and that is to serve the Lord. So as disciples, genuine disciples, we should have only one goal, to carry out the desire of our spiritual master. And that is what is going on now in ISKCON worldwide in Mayapur. So Prabhupada had a dream to build a spiritual city for the whole world, a place where the whole world can come and have rest. The temple of Vedic planetarium now is coming to actualization because the disciples took it very serious. This is the goal of our spiritual master. And I will tell us, and I'm very sure we know, to some degree, they may have experienced one or two disagreements, but they didn't lose focus of the goal. And that is the reason why it's coming to manifestation today. And even in this verse, Prabhupada said that sometimes in service, there could be some disagreement, but if it is within service, that is all right. One year I was in Lagos Temple, Prabhu and Mother Raga Manjari, they were having a very big argument. Raga Manjari was to cook Rajbog, and she came late to cook. And the standard is to cook 5 preparation. Though she was very late, she still says she wants to cook that 5 preparation. Rama Priya, the Pujari, is considering the fact that if she's already late and she will not be able to make all those preparations. So he told her, just make rice and sabji and give me. So the woman said, no, I want to make all 5 preparations. But at the end of the day, myself, Prabhu Gurudas, because Prabhu Gurudas was the temple president at that time in Lagos Temple, we now also all have to come to the kitchen, we join hands, and the preparation was complete. And at the end, Prabhu Rama Priya was happy, Mother Raga Manjari was happy. Rama Priya is thinking of the time to offer the boga. Though the mother is late, but she's still thinking of how to give Krishna the best. But at the end of the day, because everybody is meditating on the same thing, we got what we needed and we were all happy. So if we all understand the mission of the spiritual master and we carry it in our hearts, we will have to know what we have to tolerate. Whatever have to be let go to achieve the aim, the dream of the guru, we will let it go. Even Srila Krishna Prabhupada himself made a prayer. Whatever has to be taken away to better my devotional service, let it be taken away. And whatever has to be brought to me, even if it is suffering, even if it is cancer, let it be brought upon me, as long as it will help me to better my devotional life. So in a simple language, I don't want to speak too much about this, because many senior devotees, they understand this better and they can tell us many things better about this. But in simple language, what the very simple thing I can say is that we should keep meditating on the spiritual master and keep thinking what we can do to actualize his dreams. And of course, like today's disappearance of Srila Krishna Pad, we have to remember his memories. Srila Krishna Pad in Lagos, when he came to Lagos, he didn't have a place to stay. So he was using Mr. Patel's office, Mr. Patel in Lagos. Srila Krishna Pad will stay there in the night, and the daytime, he will go to Saketan. So in the daytime, the place is an office, and in the night, it's an ashram for him. It's a huge sacrifice he took. We heard of how he was chanting inside the train, toilet, and all those things he did in different places, and all the risks he took in Nigeria here. Even sometimes disciples are also doing some things against him. I'm sorry to say this, But if we remember all this risk he took for us, out of gratitude, whatever we have to put behind us and move on, we put it behind and appreciate the spiritual master by working together and seeing that his dreams are carried out. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Yadhunath Prabhu, for the beautiful answer.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Mr. Manvara Acharya Prabhu, I don't know if you have anything to say. Today is a special day, whether in relation to the class or to the special occasion of today. There are only 3 of us with Yadhunath today. Everybody is absorbed in the celebration.
No, it's my punishment for not being regular in class.
I think it is the other way around. I think the devotees are absorbed in so many engagements of the celebration. I think that's why we have many devotees. And at least I can count about 6, 7 devotees who are presently in programs as we are talking, who are not regular devotees.
No problem.
So, yeah, Prabhu, please go ahead. Smavara Charya Prabhu.
Okay.
We cannot hear you.
You cannot hear me?
Okay, now we can hear you.
You cannot hear me?
Now we can hear you.
All right. Yeah, I'm just entering also, so change of network. Okay, so all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. My obeisances to everybody. So yes, Chitri, I think the real day is 27. But today is according to Vedic calendar, I guess. Isn't it?
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
But the real day is 27th.
Yeah.
Yes.
The actual date is, English calendar is 27th, yes. The Titi date is today.
Yes, so we have this opportunity to remember the pastimes and the activities of our Guru Maharaj. First is that, like Yadhunath Prabhu said, we have to always be grateful, have the spirit of gratitude for all what the Guru did for us, linking us to the Vaishnava Parampara system and giving us the opportunity to purify our life. Of course, we are witnesses of what it means to be surrendered to Guru's instruction. Our Gurudev is a perfect example of what it means to surrender to Guru's instruction. Every one of us, wherever we might be in Africa or West Africa, every one of us witnessed how much Gurudev sacrificed, suffered, so much inconveniences, just to see that Krishna consciousness is implanted and could be carried on by us. So what more, what other way can we pay him back than to make sure that the baton that he has passed on to us, that baton will not end with us. We can also continue to pass it on to others. So, and also to also see many instructions Guru Dev gave about, just like Yadhunath said, community building, especially taking care of the deities, and then making sure that there's proper devotees care. In all these ways, we saw him doing his best and showing us how to do it when he was there physically. So our gratitude to him will be shown how much we make sure that people will come to West Africa years to come, or even now, would be able to see why Gurudev was glorified all over the world. We'll be able to see, we'll be able to, we'll be able to see in what is happening or what he has left behind the glories of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, Swami Krishna Prabhu. If that is not there, then we have to see whether we're actually representing him. People should not come and ask the question, so where are those things we used to hear about Krishna Padma preaching in West Africa? If that kind of question is asked, then we should sit up and realize that we are not representing Gurudev as it's supposed to be. So individually, every time we have this opportunity to remember Gurudev, of course, every day we should remember him, because carrying out his service, or the service he has given us, is remembering him. But particular remembrance come on his appearance day or on his disappearance day, when we have to do what is called assessment or stock taking of our activities. So like I said, I repeat again, if people come, visit us, and they glorify him, they say, wow. Like I went to India 2015 for Jaladuta, and then I took one Mataji here to represent Togo, because since I'm not Togolese. So when this Mataji, peace be to her, she's already left her body. And when she got there, and when she saw Maya, when she saw the very temple, Mani Prabhupada must have been actually incarnation of God. She said, wow, Prabhupada is not an ordinary person. So that when they visit the project that an empowered pure devotee has left behind. So we need to look into what we are doing right now, what we have, but that kind of impression is going to be there for those who visit now, not to talk of in the future. So we surely have a big burden. A person who has left this behind for us is known all over the world to be a trailblazer. And we, his disciples, should be able to keep that memory going on. So anyway, thank you for giving me the opportunity to say something. I'm just driving in, so I have to shift my paradigm. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, very much. That was a beautiful one. And yeah, I think there cannot be enough expression. I like that beautiful pastime when that devotee got to Mayapur, realization that Srila Prabhupada must be it. I think that's a beautiful one. So yeah, Gurudev's glories can never be exhausted, because is a powerful example of a perfect disciple of his Gurudev. And I didn't know, Prabhu, your hand is up.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you for that once again. Prabhu, see, yesterday at the temple, I was having some discussion with Guru Das Prabhu, and he made mention that purity is the first. And the course of Prabhu Yadhunath's discussion, he also mentioned something like that. So what could be the problem, or the kind of problem that we are facing now Is it mismanagement or is purity that we are lacking?
Hare Krishna,
Over
Prabhu.
to you.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Well, ordinarily, when there's a problem in an organization, the first thing that is being said or being looked at is the management. Maybe the management structure is weak or the leader is not doing his role very well. But this is a spiritual movement. And just like we already said, purity is a force. Srila Prabhupada gave us two wonderful services, activities, and he said there are two rigid principles. There are two rigid principles in ISKCON. One is chanting, and the second one is hearing. Prabhu, with all due respect, I don't know how to bend words. Let us ask ourselves, or the people, how many devotees are chanting 16 rounds now on daily basis? If I am not chanting 16 rounds, is it the problem? Is it the management that makes me not to chant 16 rounds? Is it leadership that makes me not to chant 16 rounds? Many devotees, householders in ISKCON, they are eating onions. Many devotees who are living outside the temple don't have altar in their house, which means they are eating boga in their house. Is it the management that caused that to happen? No. And of course, if I misbehave because the management is bad in a spiritual organization like this, who is actually bad? I am the one, because I am not mature spiritually. I am not saying that the management is 100% okay, but we have to also assess our individual selves first. And of course, any organization, the problem is more followership than leadership. What does this mean? When there is good followership, there will be a good leader, because the person who is a leader today was also once a follower. And today I'm a follower. I'm not behaving well. I'm going to become a leader in the future. When I become a leader, what is my managerial skill going to look like? So in a simple language, yes, to some degree, leadership problem is there. We cannot rule it out. But on a greater degree, we lack purity because we are minimizing our practice. We have minimized so many things in Krishna consciousness, especially here in West Africa, like anything. And there's no way to not affect us. It will affect us. So the answer is yes, to some degree, leadership problem is there. We cannot deny it. But on a greater degree, we lack purity because we have minimized the standard. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Nadine Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. Yes. Very satisfactory.
Okay, that's good.
Haribo.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I just want to use this opportunity to let us know today is 20th. This is the TT date. Next week, Monday, is the calendar date of the Gurudev's disappearance. And then on that day, we are fortunate that we are having one of Gurudev's god sister, Grace Rukmini Mataji, is going to be giving the class that day. So I'm sure that she will be able to do a little bit more of justice to sharing with us realization about Guru Maharaj. I think they have a whole lot of pastimes together. And I think I've had her speak once or twice on this. It's like Gurudev. So on Monday next week, we'll have another kind of, that day we'll try to brainstorm, and then hopefully maybe many more devotees will be here. But I'm just informing us that by next week, Monday, which is on the 27th, which is the actual date, we'll be having our Grace Rukmini Mataji, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, on this platform to give the Bhagavatam class. And I think we might be opportune to hear a little bit more from our Gurudev god sister about a little bit more about his activities. So there are no more hands up. If anyone has anything to say, let us know. Sudha Bhakti Mataji, you're welcome. Thank you for joining. And we've heard from His Grace, Sriman Varacharya Prabhu. Thank you very much, Anandini Danan Prabhu. As for me, from here, I'm very happy and satisfied. His Grace Yadhunath Prabhu, I think you should help us to draw Dasarat Prabhu's ear. Since you are in, I think it is not too difficult. It's not too bad that we cannot join once in a week, twice in a week, at least once in a week, twice, once in 2 weeks, So as you go around and visiting the temples, I mean, encourage at least the temple presidents. They cannot say that it has become that bad. At least once in a week, this is a 5-day class session. So it's not that bad that they cannot join at least once in a week the Bhagavatam class. It is also good for their own spiritual upliftment, just like you rightly said. And there's been so much of compromise in our practices of Krishna consciousness, and it's reflecting in our general well-being and Christian activities. So I think I'll stop it at there. I don't want to judge anyone. I'm also struggling, but I'm just requesting as the National Council chairman, as you go around, try to encourage devotees, tell them about this platform, request them to join, because the SRIMAD Bhagavatam has said clearly that there is nothing better than hearing about Krishna. And this platform is created for that purpose. So at least, I mean, we should request devotees, because there is we know that in most of our temples, especially in West Africa, there are not many devotees there. And if the few temples that we have senior devotees, also they are busy with so many activities. I'm not sure every temple has an everyday Bhagavatam class, even in Lagos. And unless maybe when Maharaj is there physically, when it's not there, it's not like everyday Bhagavatam class. So you should encourage devotees, they should join this platform so that they can at least fulfill that desire of Srila Prabhupada that we should hear Bhagavatam once in a day. And if they cannot join every day, at least they can take a time to once a week, twice a week. And I think that will help us in a great way. Thank you very much. At this point, there are no other questions. I will request all of the devotees to kindly unmute. Let us thank His Grace, YADHUNATH Prabhu, for giving this wonderful and beautiful class today on this auspicious day of His appearance of our Guru Maharaj by loudly chanting a powerful Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. To appreciate him. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare. Machakarapataru Vyascha Kripasu Chitana Baba Shri Mataputi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Mataputi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. His Grace YADHUNATH Prabhu Ki Jai.